So
talk about the football game. I don't care. Just anything. just to see the
21-7.
Oh, that's a good score.
Yeah, go Vikings. I picked the right colors for my shirts, didn't I?
Sure did.
I was very popular at the Metrodome this morning.
Great. Seems like you've been a real busy guy lately.
No rest for the wicked.
That's true.
Right.
All right. The Alex Jones interview that you did with Jesse Ventura, how do you think that made it over in the public's eye?
Oh, I think Alex, I think I might owe the election to him if I win this. I think it's going to be because of Alex and his listeners. They helped me raise about $60,000 in 3 days, which gave us enough money to produce some television spots and get them on the air. And unfortunately, a lot of people in Minnesota don't think you're viable unless they see you on TV. So now we're on TV, so I owe a lot to Alex. He's a good friend, Jesse Ventura. Met Alex down in Austin last weekend at the Willie Nelson.
With Willie Nelson, yeah.
And convinced Alex to put me on, and we did an hour infomercial on why people should support me, how we could send a huge message to Washington if we send an independent from Minnesota to tell the two-party system that we've had enough of the way you've been running our country, driving our country over the cliff, the mismanagement, the corruption, the big money, the negativity, all of the above. And it's helped. It's helped a great deal, and we'll see if it's enough.
That's true. It's a good plug for you guys. Are we rolling there, Mike, or what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should I introduce?
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, welcome to this edition of the Patriot Action Television Network. I'm Eddie E. Bachet, your host, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down and talking to U.S. Senate candidate Dean Barkley from Minnesota. Welcome to the program, Dean. Now, I got to ask you, sir, what makes you different from any other politician?
Well, I tell the truth.
Well, that's different for sure.
I don't take special interest money. I just want to represent the normal middle-class person out there that does not have a lobbyist. I've grown up in a small town in Annandale. I've been a businessman my whole life. I've had to balance budgets. I know you can't keep on spending money you don't have. I don't believe in this partisanship that we've been seeing from Washington the last 20 years. I think until we actually start sending people to Washington that consider themselves to be Americans first and a member of a political party second, nothing's going to change. And so I'm trying to give Minnesotans an option. If they don't like Al Franken or Norm Coleman, they got a shot to send a message to Washington by sending me there.
That's true. Now, you're an independent, correct?
Right.
All right. And what, in your opinion, is wrong with both parties?
Well, I think both parties are participating in this, I call it the endless food fight, where they get into their caucuses, they take sides, they throw rocks at each other, and they have the complete inability to solve any of our nation's problems. Whether it's the $11 trillion debt that both parties have accumulated, that is not only mortgaging our future, it's our kids' and our grandchildren's future. It's almost unconscionable what they're doing to us right now. You know, they put us in a position now where we're relying on the goodwill of China to keep on buying our bonds. You know, what a position to put our country in right now. We're in a fiscal mess. They've wrecked our economy. You know, how much more damage can they do before people are going to rise up and say we've had enough of this and we need to have a different direction in Washington?
Now, is that mainly the Republicans who are doing that, or the people who are controlling the Republicans?
Well, I think it's the people that can, not just the Republicans. You know, the same lobbyists that went to Denver for the DNC, the National Convention, got on their Learjets and flew to St. Paul. Right. And they went to both conventions. Both parties now have been bought and paid for by special interests, whether it's the drug lobby, the oil lobby, you name the lobby, they both got their grips on them. In our case here in Minnesota, both my opponents are going to spend over $20 million each, largely of special interest, out-of-state money. For what? And those, you know, that money has to be paid back. These people aren't giving them that money because they like them.
Right.
It's an investment, and they're going to get paid back once they go in session again.
That's true. Now, you were on the Alex Jones show along with Jesse Ventura recently, and a lot of people out there don't really know who Alex Jones is right now, but there's a growing number of younger voters who do know who Alex is. Now, Jesse Ventura was independent also, and he made a big change here in Minnesota. How do you think your party, the independent party, is going to change politics in Minnesota, or is it just going to be the status quo again?
No, I think we already have. We've been a major party now in Minnesota since 1994 when I ran for the Senate. Got us major party status. I recruited Jesse to run in 1998. I ran his campaign, and we shocked the world. So, if you vote right, if you vote smart, you can make change in this country. We can have a revolution in this country without picking up a single gun. It's called the vote. And people just have to get off their butts and go out and vote the right way and send that message. In Minnesota, I think we've got one of the most successful third parties in the country. I think we're a model that others can follow. When I go to Washington, the next election, maybe we could send some more there and actually start changing this country while we still have time to do it.
That's true. I agree with that 100%. Now, you mentioned voting. That's very important. How are we going to keep the election honest this time? Do we need our own private exit pollers to stand out there and ask people like CBS does?
Well, it's scary with these new voting machines that are out there that has no paper trail. We have to trust the programming of those black voting boxes now. I'm very concerned about the integrity of those machines. I don't know if they can be rigged or they can't be rigged, but I'd really would like to go back to the old-fashioned paper ballot so we can actually go back and look at them and count them to make sure that things are done right.
All right. Now, as far as industry in Minnesota goes, how would you support a green industry here? Like, for instance, hemp products and hemp for fuel and biodiesel. Would you support anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I've been for ending the drug war, which I think is the biggest failure in our country. Anytime you make something illegal, all you do is create a whole class of criminals that make money right now. Exactly. The fact that hemp or marijuana is illegal is silly. It's insane. We gotta regulate it and tax it and open it up. I mean, the biggest drug problem our country has is alcohol. It's not marijuana. And hemp can be used for all kinds of manufacturing, from clothing to paper to all kinds of good things that we can do. As far as the green economy goes, Congress took $4 gas for them to actually start talking about it. We've been talking about it for 30 years since our last energy crisis. We're still importing $750 billion of oil a year, which is causing our dollar to free fall. Brazil became energy independent in 5 years because they had the political will to do it. We can do it. We just have to send people there that are actually going to make it happen. Why is Congress still giving oil companies tax breaks? Why does ExxonMobil need a tax break?
That's true.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, I take all the money we're putting into oil companies, put that into the alternatives, the tax credits, we need to get those industries going, and start doing it and quit talking about it.
That's true. Now, in your opinion, what is the biggest problem facing Minnesota families right now?
Basically, the economy. Obviously, both parties have wrecked it. This subprime mortgage mess that both parties created. I mean, Democrats started it in 1999 with Clinton when they told Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae to go out and start making mortgages to everybody. They wanted everyone to have a house, whether they could afford it or not. And the Republicans looked the other way because all their rich friends on Wall Street were making millions and millions of dollars on fees for these mortgages. And they both basically sank our economy. We're right now in the worst economic crisis our country's had since the Depression. And both parties did it. They both created it. And we want to send them back to fix the problem that they created.
No, it doesn't sound good to me.
Well, you look at Norm Coleman, who's running as the Republican. He's taken $3 million himself for his campaign from Wall Street. $3 million from Wall Street. He's going to go back and hold Wall Street accountable after he took $3 million from them.
Not likely, right?
Not likely is right. I mean, but voters have a choice. That they want to send back the person who created the mess, who's taken the money, to be the person who's going to save us. Well, good luck.
Right. Have you heard of a movement called the community currency?
No.
Where each individual county would be, in effect, their own Federal Reserve and issue currency based